Good morning, everybody. It's your boy D Max. So let's talk. Let us talk this morning. So, good morning, congregation. I hope everybody's blessed and highly favored this morning. Um, I wanted to come on here for a little bit and talk about holding on to your past. We often, as humans, and this is for everybody, we often have this thing where we carry around so much extra unnecessary baggage in our lives, and we start to accumulate that baggage. I would say from childhood. There are things that happened to a lot of us in childhood that was very traumatic to our lives, and we chose to carry this. Now, when you're a child, of course, you're going to dwell on something that was traumatic in your life. But there is a certain point that you get to in your life where you begin to realize that I can't continue to do this because this is causing a negative impact on my life, and every decision that I make is being dictated by the things that happen to me and shape this perception of reality that I have based off of the traumatic things that I've experienced in my life. And I know personally that if you don't deal with those things, if you don't address them in a timely manner, then they will continue to cause problems in your life. Will it wreck your life? Sometimes, because there are so many people who are locked up in prison simply because of the life that they have, and they felt like they were cheated. And there's just, there's a resentment that's been built up in them, especially when they compare themselves to other people's lives, and they really don't know the other people's lives. All they see is they're on the outside looking in of what they think is a better life than theirs, but they really don't know what that person has been through or what they're actually going through, and able to hide it. um I say this because, I don't really hang with people, but there's certain people that I associate with from time to time. And you know there's some people that carry such negative and toxic energy that you feel it and it begins to affect you. And I just had to tell this person, hey, if when we together, if this is all you're going to talk about and this is all you're going to be about, then we can't really kick it like that no more, because your baggage is beginning to affect me, and I'm not going to allow that. Now, I can help you out. I can let you vent to me and all of that and get everything off of your chest. Cool, I'm a friend, that's what I do. But at the point to where every time you vent to me and I give you sound, wise counsel and you don't take it, but then you come right back to me with that same old sob story after not taking my counsel, my ears are closed to you. Because what I'm not going to do is to continue to allow you to use me as your venting bag instead of punching bag. I'm not going to allow you to do that to me. Um, and as a grown person, at some point you're going to have to deal with those issues, because if you don't deal with those issues internally, they're going to manifest on the outside, and they're going to be noticed and recognized by everybody. So, you know, I don't understand. Well, no, I take that back. And I gotta quit saying that, y'all. I gotta quit saying I don't understand, because I do understand. A lot of people will hold on to all of this childhood trauma and all of this baggage in order to be their excuse for staying where they are. They don't want to move up. They don't want to excel. They don't want to grow. They don't want to change. They're comfortable in what they're in. And anytime somebody bring up the point of them changing, they're gonna go back to that stuff because that's their crutch and that's their comfort zone. They don't want to get out of their comfort zone. And when you take away those excuses and all of those childhood traumas for why they do things, they no longer have an excuse not to change and not to grow. So I challenge people. I say, man, you don't want to grow. You don't want to change. Because if you did, you wouldn't continue to sing this same sad song every single day in, day out, night in, night out. But that's how you convince yourself that it's okay for you to continue to do the foolish things that you do. And it's okay for you to continue to wallow in self pity because of what happened to you. I did that for years, man. And one of the freest feelings that I ever had in my life. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, brother? Good morning to you. And one of the freest moments that I've had in my life was when I was able to address an issue in my life, get it all behind me, and say, I'm done with it. It's no longer an excuse for me to be the way that I was, because after a while I found out, well, I kind of subliminally knew that I was using these things as a crutch. And anytime somebody would challenge me on my behavior or on things that I've said, I would say, well, this right here happened. This is why I'm like this. So you can't say anything about me, or you don't understand because you didn't go through this. But what I didn't understand is that they went through something else. They went through something that shaped and molded their perceptions of reality. It didn't have to be what I went through. It didn't have to be worse than what I went through, because what was so bad to me, whatever happened to them, could equate to that same level of harm as what my situation did. You understand what I'm saying? And so when you sit there and say things like, you don't understand, you ain't been through this, you don't know what a person been through in order to get them where they are in life. And you don't know what a person has conquered and overcome to keep them grounded in life. And that's the thing that I will cut you off in a moment. If you ever come to me and you're talking to me about something and I'm giving you counseling, you be like, you don't understand and you ain't never been through this. I've been through life. And life brings us some sour grapes sometimes. Life brings us a monkey wrench to throw right in the midst of our plans. Life brings you something that will take the breath out of your body. But guess what? We have the power to let those things go. We have the power to deal with that issue and come to a resolution so that we don't continue to carry this around with us for the rest of our life and say, well, that's why I do this and that's why I do that. We're always making excuses of why we do things, but yet we will turn around and we will try to portray an image of strength to people. You are not strong. You are weak. You are very weak. You're weak mentally. You're weak emotionally. You're weak spiritually. And you like being in that weakness, because if you were to deal with those issues, then that means you're going to have to level up. And a lot of people don't want to level up, because leveling up means that you have to really make a change. Leveling up means that you really have to shed that old behavior and reshape your mind. You have to reshape your mind. And the word says it, we have to, by the renewing of our mind. And when we renew our mind, that means, all right, if I have a pair of shoes and those shoes are dirty, I got my J's right here and I'm looking at them now. Man, there's spots on these J's that I don't think will come out. But with the right product and with the right um, brush or whatever, I can get that out. But it's going to take me some extra effort and it's going to take me some extra materials to make that happen. Am I willing to put that much time and effort into cleaning these J's when I can go get another pair of J's? Some people won't. But some people will see that, man, all I got to do is just take the strings out and get a toothbrush and give me a little bit of awesome and mix it with some water and then just scrub it real good and let it dry. Then complete, repeat the process a few times and I can get it back to a renewed state to where it looks new again. My oldest brother, rest in peace, Henry. My oldest brother would take care of his shoes like no other person alive. I mean, this is the only person I know that'll have a pair of shoes that's 10 years old that look like they just came out of the box from the store. And that's because he understood that, I don't have to go out here and continue to spend a whole bunch of money on all of these different shoes if I take care of the ones that I have, and they're still going to look good and they're still going to be comfortable. Matter of fact, they're going to be broken in the way I like them, and they're still going to have that sense of newness to them. And people are going to be like, no, those are dope. Where'd you get those from? You be like, man, these shoes are 10 years old. What? You know what I'm saying? This is just an analogy to show that we can renew our minds. We can clear all of these mental blocking thoughts from our minds, but it's going to take a little bit of extra effort. It's going to take a little bit of extra understanding, a little bit of extra self inventory to really get your mind renewed to the point of it, you know, of people being like, wow, that's different, man. What's up with you? Because that's what's going to spark a question and that's what's going to spark a conversation. And in that conversation, you have absolutely no idea how much you can inspire a person telling them how you dealt with the challenge in your life. I've inadvertently helped a lot of people just by talking. That's why I started getting on here, man. And salute again to Big J for giving me an opportunity to come on this platform and showing me stuff, because I don't know which message is going to help somebody. This I get on here sometimes and I'll say something and I don't be really feeling it, but then I'll get a comment from somebody like, "That's the one right there, bro," or "Man, I'm going through that exact thing." I've had people call me up after I did a podcast and be like, "Bro, I'm going through that exact thing right now." But see, that's just the spirit, man, and that's me sharing with people what got me into the place of starting to renew my mind, because my mind is not all the way renewed. I still have things that I'm not letting go. I let go of a couple, but it's like you have, all right, say I have a suitcase and then I have another suitcase inside that suitcase. And then I have a smaller one in that all the way down. And I'll go and I'll take one set of suitcases out and put this one suitcase off to the side. Okay, I dealt with that. But I still got this other suitcase. I still got these other ones that I'm lugging around. And I don't want to let those go, but I'm willing to let that go because that's too heavy. I can't lug this around no more. I'm starting to get fatigued all the time. So I got to shed off a little bit, just enough to take off the pressure to where I can continue to lug around the rest of this stuff with me. And this is what we do day in and day out. Good morning, Mark Crena. You said communication is top priority because we need to help each other. And that's so lovely. Absolutely, absolutely, 100%. And that's why I'm saying, because I have a friend, and the thing about the communication is this: if I'm helping you, and if I'm giving you wise counsel, but you don't take my wise counsel, at some point I'm not going to give you my wise counsel anymore, because I see that you don't really want you don't want a solution to the problem. You just want people to know you're hurt so that they can feel sorry for you and give you a pass whenever you do those unseemly things. And I'm not the one for that, because I love you enough to tell you, no, you're wrong. And until you straighten it out, because you have all the tools to get it right, and you have a plan, because we just sat here and scoped out a plan. So if you're not willing to put that plan into action, why am I going to continue to give you my pearls when you're not going to do anything with them? I'm not going to do it for so long. And that's out of love, because I understand that you're using me. You're using me as um, your emotional scapegoat. And said, when we bucket things inside, all the damage is our mind. Yes, yes, it absolutely does damage our mind. It causes so much turmoil. It causes so much pain, and it causes us to not be able to trust. It causes us to not be able to love. It causes us to not be able to have understanding and compassion and all of those things like that. And so, how can you then go into a relationship with someone and try to give them love and be their sense of peace when you have no love or peace yourself? You can't give somebody what you don't have. And I remember telling somebody, and he was like, "Man, she's supposed to be my peace. When I come home, she's supposed to be my peace and my firm foundation." I was like, "How can somebody be your peace when they don't have any peace in their life? How are you going to put that on somebody who has absolutely no peace in their life and they're still struggling?" So if you expect somebody to be your peace, you're going to have to help them to get delivered from all of those things that are stopping them from being your peace, because peace only comes through love. If I love you, if I trust you, all of those things give me peace. I remember when I joined the military and I was in basic training, and there were so many dudes around me who were getting letters from their girlfriends that they're cheating and they don't want to be with them anymore, and all types of things. And I was so thankful for my wife, because I didn't have those problems. I had peace of mind because of who my wife was, because of her character, because of who she is, and the standard that she holds herself to. And that's the only way that she could be my peace, is that she had found her own peace. And she didn't look to me to be her peace. She didn't look to me to make her happy. I just pretty much complimented what she had already accomplished in her life. And by the time I went to basic, I didn't have any of those issues, because I knew what type of woman I had at home, and she knew me, and she knew how to keep my mind at ease. So I was thankful, and I'm still thankful to this day for that, because she's still my peace to this day. Um, this is an exercise in, what's the word I'm looking for? This is an exercise in communication that a lot of people really get twisted, because they look for a mate and say, "Oh, well, I'm looking for somebody who's going to make me happy. I'm looking for somebody who's going to make me want to become better." If you don't want to become better on your own, there's not a person out here in this world that's going to make you want to be. You might want to be better, but you're never going to do it. That's the thing. So you will be inspired, but you won't be inspired enough to change. You won't be inspired enough to go out and start to set plans in motion to cause your life to go in a different route than what you're taking it based off of the traumas that you're still dragging around with. And as people do these things, we still have to deal with life. We still have jobs to go to. We still have children to raise. We still have all of these other interactions that we have while we're carrying all this stuff. And so, guess what's going to happen? We're going to pass that stuff on to our children. And now they're dealing with our childhood trauma on top of whatever trauma they may have. This is how this cycle goes. Whatever happened to my mom and she never dealt with, guess who's going to deal with it? Me. Because some of her actions and some of her thoughts and the ways that she taught me coming up was based off of those things. So that means that now she's taking her burdens from her past and she's giving them to me. Here, son, always remember this right here, because people who do this and people who do that, always remember you can't trust so and so, because I went through this when I was younger and my experience with these people is this and that. And so now you've passed on your trauma and your burdens on to me before I've even had an opportunity to shape and mold and develop my own perceptions. And that's not fair. It's not fair at all. And we do this thing over and over as a people, and we do it to our children over and over. And then we wonder why this generation is in the state that they're in. They're in the state that they're in because they're carrying their parents baggage. They're carrying their grandparents baggage because your parents had to learn it from somewhere, and your parents was carrying their parents baggage, and then they were carrying they you see what I'm saying? This generational curse of carrying old baggage from way back in the days that didn't have absolutely nothing to do with you. Absolutely nothing. But because the person who conceived you, and I'm not just putting it on the mothers, because fathers do the exact same thing too. There's a lot of things that I have to change about me based on how my father raised me. And don't get me wrong, I respect and I love my father because he was there until he passed when I was 17. He was there, active in the household, teaching me things that he learned growing up. But I'll say about 40% of those things were wrong. But then I have to look at the time that my father came up in. My father was born in 1924. So the things that my father experienced from 1924 up until I was born in 1977 was a lot of racism. It was a lot of still a remnant of slavery, because there was sharecropping, and sharecropping was just indentured servitude, and the environment that he came up in, according to how people were treated, he had a certain view of certain people. And he passed those views on to me. Now, did he come to me and say, son, don't look at these people and don't? No. But how he interacted with those people, I saw that. How he talked about those people when he didn't know that I was listening or paying attention. I heard those things. Those things shaped and molded my perception of these people. And then when I got old enough to realize, wow, not all of these people are like what my dad said, I made a conscious decision then to make my own decision about people and not using somebody else's perception of people, because that's not fair to me and that's not fair to other people. But I can't fault my father because my father went through what he went through. And I did the same thing as I got older and started to have my own children and started to teach my sons and my daughters things. So those things that I had built up in me and those things that I hadn't let go yet, now my children are carrying them. And so as I learned that I was wrong in those areas, now I have to go back and help my children to let this baggage go because they're just getting started in life. And why would I start my child out in life with a weight on their shoulders? That's wrong. So once I recognize that, it's up to me to go ahead and say, baby, I was wrong. You know, daddy's still growing, daddy's still learning. We learn until the day that we die. And I'm sorry for putting this on you. That was not fair. But a lot of us have too much pride to do that. I'm in this other group on another platform, and it's called Black Fathers. And we will often get in there and we'll discuss, parenting as a Black father. And we had a discussion the other day, and we were talking about uh, if your child, uh, if your child questions you or don't agree with you, is that disrespect? And so I said, it depends. It depends on how they come at you. Because if my child don't agree with something or don't understand why something is that I tell them or instruct them to do, I'm going to give them clarity on why I told them to do this. But at the same time, that's where it stops. You're not going to continue to question me after that because now you're in defiance. Because there's a thing between curiosity and not knowing something. Once I give you the answer, okay, I understand that, makes sense, and I'm off to do it. But if I give you the reasoning behind it and you want to stand there and continue to say why you feel that it's not right, I'm like, okay, well, I'll take that into consideration, and I've taken that into consideration, but I still need you to do what I asked you to do. Because for one, I've been on this earth a whole lot longer than you, and I know what the outcome of this is going to be for you. I'm not going to tell you to do anything that's going to hurt you. Well, no, I take that back because I just stated that oftentimes we put our preconceived thoughts onto our children. But if I tell you something, say for instance, son, I need you to go out there and take that water hose and wrap it around this pole. Well, I don't think you should wrap it around that pole. Okay, son. Well, this is why I say wrap it around that pole is because, this is going to be a deterrent for so and so and blah, blah, blah. But still, I don't think you should wrap it around that pole. Okay, well, I'll take that into consideration that you don't think I should wrap it around that pole, but I need you to wrap it around the pole anyway. Now, if something happens, that's on me. That's not on you. You're being obedient to what I told you, and there's not going to be any consequence to come to you because of the decision that I made in telling you to do so. But you're not going to continue to go back and forth with me. And here's why. I sacrifice so much for you to be in this position that you're in. And I stated this before. You go and we go out into the world and we deal with so much. We bite our tongues. We take crap from people because in that moment when we're ready to snap and go off, the thing that soothes that savage beast in us is the thought of what my child needs. My child has this one. I can't say this because if I do, I'm going to lose this. And my child needs this. So I'm going to shut my mouth. I'm going to hold my peace. And, we do this often. And so then when I come home and I ask you to do something, yeah, you can question me on why. And I tell you why. But I still need you to do that. And I had a few people in there that was like, oh, you just so old school and you think everything is disrespect and you I was like, no, because you're not hearing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is i'm going to I'm going to let you know why I'm doing so. And I'm not angry or offensive that you asked the question. If anything, I encourage my children to ask questions, because the only dumb question is a question that's not asked. And so I encourage that, but you're not going to challenge me. There's a difference between asking a question out of curiosity or out of ignorance and then challenging. So once you continue to push on with it, now you move from curiosity to challenging. And I can't allow that, because we're not friends, we are not equals, and the balance in that household has to remain intact and in order. And there's so many parents out here who are making their children their friends because they are feeling some type of way about the mistakes that they made in their child's life. And they feel guilty about those things. And they'll try to be their child's friend thinking that they're helping, but you're not helping, because you just taken the whole entire boundary away. You've taken all the boundaries away. And now when they go out in the world, they're going to see any authority figure as like their equal. And that's not it. And they're going to have a hard time, because some people are not going to understand your child and your child's thinking when they go out in this world. And this world is not going to slow down to take time to understand. And so it starts at home. It starts at home. And so many of these children, I was looking at the whole thing that's going down in Chicago. You have the GDs, the BDs, OTF, whatever. These guys have, they just put themselves in a situation to now their whole entire neighborhood is about to be in prison. And so somebody said, "Oh man, that's so crazy, man. This is just such a tragedy." No, the tragedy happened a long time ago. The tragedy happened whenever their parents, who was GDs and BDs and out there in the streets and thinking all of that stuff was cute, and had their babies out there throwing up gang signs and stuff like that, thinking that was so cool. Now they're reaping what they've sown. So now when your children are getting shot down out here in the streets, think back to when you had them throwing up the gang signs and stuff, and had them on Facebook and had them on live. Look at my baby, ain't he so cute? And you're placing all of the ingredients in that child to become a total weapon of destruction when they get old enough. Because when my grandson hits me at 3 years old, that don't hurt. But when my grandson turns 14 and he swing on me, it's going to be a lot more behind it, and he's really going to be able to cause some damage then. So it's not cute. So all of these things that you're instilling in these children as little babies, they may not be able to utilize it then, but as they get older and they start to develop and grow in the environment that you've placed them in, they're going to learn how to use what you put in them, and they're going to go out here and cause some damage. And this is exactly what the outcome of what's taking place in O Block in Chicago is. These kids was coming up and they saw people out here in the street doing all of this stuff. And they was out there playing cops and robbers, and you're like, oh, that's cute, the kids playing. But you didn't realize that most kids was arguing to be the robber instead of the cops, because the cops are not seen as the heroes no more. A lot of that is on them, but a lot of that is on us too, because they wouldn't have an opportunity to come in and do the things to us if we didn't place ourselves in that position by doing the crimes that we did in the first place. So it's a double-edged sword. And I was arguing with the guy. I'm like, salute to FBG Duck's mother. And blessings to her, and I hope that she finds peace in her heart. But she has to understand that all of those things that she carried from the day that she was brought into this earth, and the childhood traumas and the grown up traumas that she went through, she laid all of that on her son. You a GD now. This is how GDs move. Your daddy was a GD. Your uncle was a GD. You just laid this on this young man. And then when he goes out and he gets big enough and old enough to do some real damage based on what you taught him, and he receives the consequences of his actions, because if you live by the gun, you die by the gun. And she knows this. It's not going to make it hurt any less when it happens, but she knew it was inevitable. And so now she'll jump on social media and she'll lash out at all of these other guys whose parents did exactly what she did to her son, as if they were supposed to know better. Her son was supposed to know better. All of the parents that cried because her son took their children away, that wasn't a problem to her until she had to deal with it, and she won't take responsibility for her own part in it. And that's the only problem that I have with her. You have to accept responsibility for what you laid on this child. When that young man was a little child, you begin to lay your stuff on him. You begin to lay your trauma and your burdens on him. And when he went out and um, he had enough anger in him to do what you weren't willing to do because you were scared. Because this generation ain't scared of nothing. But now he's out there and he's full throttle and he's not scared to act on that anger like you were. And now you're scared of him, but you put that all in him. I saw this video. What is her name? Ayanla Van Zant. And this young man, his mother, she was telling Ayanla, yeah, I had to go and take out an order of protection against him because he's just so violent and so angry and just pop off. And he stopped her right there and said, I learned it from you. You remember when I was a little boy and you threw a knife at my dad and it went past my face and she butted in to try to defend herself? Well, that was 20 years ago. And then Ayanna, and I love her for this, she said 20 years ago, he was 9 years old. Do you realize how scared and frightened and traumatized that young child was to see his mother throwing a knife? And whether you meant to hit the father or not, it doesn't matter. The act, just the fact that you were willing to throw a knife at somebody that you claim to love, you instilled all of that anger and aggression in your son. And now that he's grown up to where he can utilize it to do some damage, you're afraid of him. You're not afraid of him. You're afraid of you because you see you all in him. All of those angry outbursts, all of those um just spur of the moment actions and just reacting without thinking, you laid all of that on that child. And it's become it's become the monster that you always knew it would be. And so when we look at our children and we're disappointed in our children for this and for that, well, I raised you better, I taught you better. Did you really? Because we'll go and say, don't smoke while we're smoking a Newport. Don't drink, it's bad for you. But we got a 12 pack in the refrigerator every day. Our children see these things, they understand these things, and they're going to do what they see us do before they do what they hear us instruct them on, because they can't see that. There's no physical example or a physical demonstration of what we're talking about. But when they see us coming in with that 12 pack of beer, or they see us in there rolling that blunt, or they see us packing that pack of Newports every single day religiously, oh, well, this is what you're supposed to do because daddy do it every day. Just like he get up and go to work every day, he go and do this every day. So I guess this is what you're supposed to do as a grown up. So let's stop saying that we're disappointed in our children and we raised them better. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. We instructed them better, but our actions didn't teach them any better. So when you start looking at faults in your child, you're going to have to dial that back and see how much of that you put in your child from the beginning and you started them out at a disadvantage. So holding on to our past is only going to hold us back. We're never going to be able to move forward at the rate or speed that we can and grow until we start shedding off all of this baggage. Now, did I say that you're not going to be able to move forward? No. You may be able to take a few steps, a few creeps here, but it's a whole lot of unnecessary weight on you. And your journey and your path is going to be a lot easier to travel if you shed off all that weight. We used to do ruck marches, a 10-mile ruck march. And, me trying to be super soldier, we had some soldiers who they've never really done anything that strenuous in their life. And for somebody who's never been that physical to be put in a place to where now you have to do something that you've never experienced before in your life, and they're expecting you to succeed. Um, Oftentimes, I would try to help those guys out. I would take their rucksack. Hey, bro, if I see they about to fall out or their knees about to buckle, hey, man, give me your ruck. And I'll take it and I'll put it on because I have the strength and the shoulders and the experience to carry this for a little bit. And then once they catch their wind, I give it back to them. And as they develop and grow, they build up their muscles enough to be able to carry that load. But if I continue to carry their load for them, my knees are going to wear out. The cartilage between my knees, kneecaps, and all of that is going to be gone. My lower back is going to be gone. My shoulders are going to be gone because I'm constantly carrying everybody else's load for them. But at some point, you're going to have to get strong enough to carry your own load. And then, um, as you as you start to pull things out of your bag and do an examination of, okay, what all do I have here? Okay, I don't need this. I don't need that. And just start to get rid of those things that you're carrying in your bag that you really don't need. It's unnecessary. You'll find my bag a little bit. I can do this. This is lighter. This is what I'm talking about. And now you can walk your walk. This is D Mac, man. I'm always going to come on here and I'm going to tell you um, what's on my heart. I'm not going to get on here and try to make it seem like I know everything because I'll tell you real quick, I don't know. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing at all. But I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be authentic and genuine with you. And anything that I say on here, if you were to meet me in real life and just not be around me, but just observe me from afar to where I don't even know that you're looking, my actions are going to match up with what I speak to you on here because this is who I am. It's in me to help people. It's in me to. I did a show the other day about empaths, and this is just one thing that's in me to do is to encourage people to speak life into them because somebody spoke life into me. I was out here going crazy. I was out here doing all of this crazy stuff. And somebody that's not a family member who was not obligated at all to say anything to me had enough compassion in their heart to say, young man, I see where you're headed. I see the road that you're going down because I was doing those same things. And they really gave me an opportunity to deal with those issues and to shed off that stuff. And I just pay that stuff forward, man. Um, but yeah, when we continue to hold on to our past, Thank you, Markrina. Thank you for coming in. I was so glad to see you pop up on there too this morning because I it, it, y'all, Markrina Daniels. When I first started doing this, um, me and Big J was doing the show, and Markrina would always come on, and she would let us know. Okay, sisters. Until next time, blessings to you, Queen. And she would come on, man, and she would let us know, oh, well, I don't really know much about that, but I'm trying to learn. I was like, wow, you didn't get a notification? Okay. Let me check into that because so many providers, especially providers who are speaking like I am and like Big J and my other buddy, Self Awareness TV, Reverend Tony. It seems that for some reason people are not getting their notifications like they're supposed to, and they're unnecessary and unwarranted copyright claims on. It's just a bunch of obstacles placed in our way that other content providers are seemingly not dealing with, and it's starting to form a pattern. But I know anytime that you're going to bring a word that challenges people, this is not what social media wants. Social media does not want you to challenge people on their BS. Social media wants you to tell people that their BS is fine. And it's okay because you have a remnant of people over here who's doing the same BS as you. So it's okay. But anybody who will challenge you on that, nah, you're a downer. You're messing up the algorithm. Nobody wants to hear all of that until they're in a situation that's life or death. So, yeah, I'm gonna check into it, and I'm gonna make sure that my people are getting notifications. You might have to, I don't know. I'll check into it and I'll get back with you, Markrina. Blessings to you. But like I was saying, Markrina, she was always real, and she always let us know, hey, well, I don't really know much about that, and the things that she's a subject matter expert in, she will always bless us with the knowledge and wisdom, and I appreciate that. I appreciate Markrina. Welcome to the congregation, Markrina. I'm so glad that you found me. That's what I call my people, because I don't like to say subscribers or followers, because I ain't no cult leader, and I'm not over anybody. Everybody on this platform is on the same level to me. You're not my follower, you're not following me nowhere. We're a congregation of people. We've congregated on this platform to grow and to discuss life, and I appreciate all of y'all for that. So thank you, every single person who's going to stop by today and listen to this message. Thank you, Markrina, again for showing up. I'm so glad to see you. Um, and yeah, we got to let go of this stuff from our past, because we're just throwing it on our children and we're starting them out in life unfairly. So this is your boy D Mac, man. Y'all know what I say. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.